You asked for it, and here it is. Another Hobo Talks
I'm not
on.
leaving till I see the real. Get up. See
Wait, what was that one about?
Let me have this house. JT let you have my house. Yes. My shed. I want it. You're trespassing on my property. You didn't win in my yard. All of you.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that? Get everybody out of my...
That's how you get that house. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. That is a strainer, in case you were wondering. Oh, yeah. Your body doesn't digest corn like that. There you go. It's starting to taste a bit worse. The house is getting closer. All jokes aside, the Thor protocol, Thor-Fi, whatever name you want to go by, it's been through some rocky patches. But you gotta admit, they are basically the last node project still alive. They are still doing things. They didn't take the money and run. If there is any money left, they are still around. They are still building. And I have to say, I haven't listened to a couple Thor's days in a row. Maybe my sentiment has also gone down a little bit. But I did listen to the one this week. Would have been about 2 days ago, and there was some good stuff. So I'm going to play a couple clips from it, and then we'll talk about it. And quite honestly, sounds like it might be a good time to get back into Thor-Fi, reactivate your nodes, and start earning a little bit of Thor.
Thorsday! Hopefully everyone here has had a good week. We've had another productive week over here at Thor-Fi as we continue to march forward towards the Eclipse launch. We've had some more discovery calls with some projects. We want to be able to start announcing some more projects here, especially as we are about a month and a half now away from Eclipse formally launching live on the main net. We're extremely excited about that.
Now, the video seems to skip right there for some reason, but I have been missing a few months, or I should say maybe like a month of Thursday. So I don't know any of the other projects that he kind of just alluded to right there. I'm not sure which ones have been announced, but that is good to hear. It's good to hear they are working with other people. This isn't going to be a, hey, hopefully when we launch this, we'll get some people on here. Sounds like they at least have a little bit of traction. Let's keep going.
Go through the first set of questions. So, the first question came from CoolHand0025, and he asked, "There's a website called GetBlock.io, which seems to do the same thing we're trying to do. Just curious if this is the direction we're going, and if they are already there."
So right now, I had a chance to actually take a look at these guys over here. These guys are more blockchain infrastructural development company, very much like our partners over there at Chainstack. These guys are a little bit newer to the industry. I mean, I think we all know where the industry is going here. We're going to see more and more players start to play within this, but by no means is this a GameFi focused blockchain. There are some other GameFi focused blockchains that we are going to be competing with, and we're looking to be able to build a fantastic industry together with. But as for specifically these guys, it's just essentially another blockchain infrastructural development company. Helps you run full nodes, helps you bridge out API data between different blockchains, specifically for bridging, things along those lines.
I think this is important if you haven't been following them for quite a while. This is something they've kind of been talking about. Is they're essentially their own chain that's built on top of AVAX, which is built on top of Ethereum. It's a layer 2.5. I think they mentioned a little bit later on. So it's going to allow them to basically do their own chain, but they're going to utilize the Thor token as the gas versus using AVAX. Their nodes are going to be there. So if you do happen to have some of the OG nodes that are still in your account, maybe they're not active, there is the main utility. I don't want to say it's like becomes a validator, but it is something that generates literally the gas token as things go on. So as more people use their chain, the value of your token is going to go up. The VRR is supposed to go up. All those things are supposed to kind of loop together to eventually get you that ROI that I'm sure a lot of people are really upset and kind of feel like they're never going to get out of Thor. One thing I will say, if you do have some tokens, or they don't have to be, it could be active or non-active, the node feeds are still a thing. They're not planning to get rid of node feeds. So if you do want to give them one more shot, I'd recommend you go ahead and pay your node fees ahead of time now while things are as low as they can be. I mean, you could pay it out a few months if you wanted to off of maybe like one AVAX. And if things do go up, one thing that would go up with that is the node fees, because it was all based on a percentage of what your nodes were earning. So if this even in any real light would make your fees go up, I mean, it would kind of make sense to go ahead and just do it now.
Node fees aren't going to be going anywhere. If we see the price action that we're expecting to see from the token with the release of the huge utility of Eclipse, I think that people are going to be in a very good position comparative to where we've been over the last 5-6 months.
Awesome, thank you. And next question comes from Super Dry, who asked, what is our long-term plan in regards to positioning ourselves well once the subnet is live in terms of marketing?
Great question. What we're doing here is we're putting together a formal marketing plan. So this is going to be, in lining up for the Eclipse subnet release, and then ongoing support for the Eclipse subnet as we continue to build out more projects and build out our relationships with more games coming onto the Eclipse subnet as a whole. At this initial here at the very start, what we're going to be doing here is we want to be doing a bunch of podcasts. We want to be going on to spaces. We want to be sponsoring some YouTube videos, some articles. We want to follow some more traditional paid promotional channels as well. Our goal here is to have Eclipse introduced into the widest amount of crypto community the crypto community as possible, but also simultaneously provide ongoing support as we continue to support Eclipse's release, as well as its gradual growth over time. As we have our launch partners here, we're going to have more and more partners over time come onto Eclipse, launch contracts on Eclipse, have transactions on Eclipse, and it's really important for us to be positioned completely behind the Eclipse subnet as a whole. The Eclipse subnet is the majority, it is the primary utility and primary product of the Thor-Fi project, and all of the value and revenue that's being generated from the Eclipse subnet is also being reflected out to our OG holders through Thor-Fi. It's very important for us to know that we have kind of a separate system here. Eclipse is its own subnet, it's its own chain. We are looking here to provide a very, very robust foundational framework here for other games to come on to the Web3 environment. But we also want to make sure that our Thor-Fi community is being taken care of by the results and by the value that's being generated by the Eclipse subnet as a whole.
All right, that was really long, but I think it's very important to point out a lot of what he said. There's a lot of value, potential value. I'm going to say potential right now because we haven't really seen it yet. But as far as that goes, they have a plan, they have a goal, they have a start and end place. They're making, they're outlining kind of what they want to do as far as having podcasts, who they want to talk to, the type of videos. And really, I mean, I kind of feel like with these things, you really just need one major component. You need one person to jump in that's got some notoriety to give you a shot. And if you can be successful with that, others will come. So I think they're still in, I don't want to say we're in home run territory, but we're at least like, hey, we've put in the work, we've put in the time, we've, survived basically the bear market. I would say, I guess it's not directly over yet, but they are back to a point where they're basically ready to launch into the next phase of Thor-Fi. And if you just listen to that, they have a way to make you money, to make you more money than what you've been making. And, not everybody had enough time to get their ROI, like I was saying before. So if you're still in this, if you want to buy back in, this is kind of what you have to look forward to. When I was scrubbing back through this, he does mention a few projects. I'm gonna play that clip here really quick for some of the projects that are already set to launch with Eclipse when Eclipse launches here for the Thor Protocol network.
Lots of people here typing. There we go. Love NFT.Thor. Come on up. You put your hand up.
Hey, Loki, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you doing? It's been a little while since I've heard your voice.
It has. It's been such a long time. Miss hearing your voice. I've been traveling a ton, and so I'm back trying to check back in with everything.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
we're still here, and we still love you coming on back. Go ahead and hit me with any question you got.
I just have a rant. I know this is probably going to sound so disconnected from what's been going on, but I just hearing today there's a new release coming up mid.
For anybody that has been kind of missing or kind of watching from the background, not really paying too much attention, I think her questions are very important for the current ecosystem that's going on with Thor. So pay attention.
Mid-November, I just want to make sure in terms of my sort of original nodes that are in the project, is there anything that one will have to do or shift or change, or does everything just stay the same moving forward?
I mean, it's relatively going to be the same. All of our nodes will be moving over to the Eclipse subnet, our subnet. However, unlike the previous migration when we went over and from our contract nodes over into NFTs, we had to set a timeline there in order for us to be able to cap NFT supply and start deflating our NFT supply. These kind of pressures we're not facing with the release of Eclipse. So while there more than likely will be a migration over into the Eclipse subnet for your individual origin or drift assets, there's not going to be any time frame there that you have to follow. There's not going to be any kind of issues that you're going to have to hoops you have to jump through. And also, more than likely, you're going to be earning rewards either on AVAX C chain or Eclipse, depending on whatever chain that your node is on.
Oh, okay. How does one know what chain their node is? I'm assuming I'm on AVAX.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, we're all on AVAX right now. So if you're not familiar with what we're doing here, we're releasing in the next month and a half here, a purpose-built AVAX gaming subnet. We call it Eclipse. You can think of it essentially as its own blockchain. And so, when that goes live, obviously with it being Thor-Fi's core product here, we want the vast majority of our users to start bridging over and utilizing Eclipse for their transactions. So there will be a migration for that, which is basically just moving your NFT, bridging that NFT token over from AVAX chain over into the Eclipse subnet. We've already set up our bridges to be extremely simple and extremely user-friendly. The great news about that as well is you're still going to be earning rewards on C chain, and also you're not going to be under any kind of timeline. You're not going to be in a situation where you have to migrate in X amount of time or you're going to lose your nodes. That's not going to exist. It's going to be up to you on how on whenever you want to come over and start exploring the Thor-Fi produced blockchain.
Got it. And it'll just be like a very, very sort of self-explanatory, click this button and everything migrates.
It's going to be a couple buttons. Exactly.
Okay. And then question. So now, we're sorry, I know I'm so behind. So bear with me.
Don't be sorry. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that'll get value out of these questions. Please ask away.
Okay, perfect. So now we will not be earning Thor tokens. What will we be earning?
You will be earning Thor tokens. It is our core token. It's the only token that exists within our ecosystem. It's just that that Thor token that you're earning isn't just a node reward token. It's now the utility token for an entire blockchain. So people are going to be, processing transactions. Think about it like this, right? When you're on AVAX and you're going to another AVAX project, say it's a game that you found in AVAX, right? You need that avalanche in your wallet in order to pay the gas fees for transactions to be done on the AVAX chain. Instead, on Eclipse, instead of it being AVAX, you're going to be using the Thor token to be paying those transactions. So all of a sudden now it's the exact same token that we've had since the day we launched. It's just this token has an incredible, immense amount of utility for an entire blockchain rather than just the node reward token. You still earn them through your nodes, though, as your rewards.
I love it. So essentially one could sort of equate it to AVAX, like in terms of It's not obviously the same thing, but it's going to sort of serve that same sort of similarity that AVAX.
I mean, very much like it for layman's works here, and just to like put it, make sense in your mind. What we're building is we're building a blockchain on a blockchain, basically, and our blockchain that we're building is being built with gaming in mind. So we're producing and developed specific projects that are going to be increasing the value of that chain significantly, right? But it's a different blockchain. And so instead of Avalanche that you use, for paying gas fees, you're going to be using the Thor token, that one and only Thor token that we've had since the beginning of our launch. So as you can imagine, the potential price action as well as the utility from the Thor token, be like 100x's overnight the minute that this subnet is being launched. Hopefully this makes a little bit more sense for you now.
It does. No, that's perfect. And then just one last question. So in our nodes, we'll continue to produce the token now that they're capped, et cetera. But everything will stay the same in that regard.
Exactly. Your nodes still produce those rewards. So essentially, for a blockchain, your nodes become the sole emission source for a blockchain as a whole. If you can understand what I'm saying here. So it's the exact same nodes, exact same VRR. The only difference now is that the reward token that you're being paid out is, of course, the same reward token as in the past. But all of a sudden now we have an incredible amount of utility being added onto that token. That's the game changer that we're talking about.
I love this. This is great. See, I knew I needed to check back in.
We've been busy. I'm
like, I know Loki's not going to ever let me down. So let me let him work, and then I'll check back in a few months, and then boom. Okay, awesome. And this is all happening, you're saying, about mid-November.
Yes, we are about a month and a half away here from our mainnet for Eclipse going live. We are, maybe about a month, 3 weeks here from our testnet going live, and our partners are going to start deploying their contracts. Our goal here is to essentially create the de facto gaming subnet on AVAX. We see the future of blockchains, and especially in the future of our next bull market here, we see the future being really, really important. To build out specific blockchain niches to facilitate the transactions and the scalability of these chains. For us, what we want to do is we really want to corner the gaming side of AVAX and be able to usher in the next generation of Web3 gaming, specifically on a subnet blockchain that we make that benefits, of course, us, our partners, as well as obviously our OG holders.
Awesome. Sounds amazing.
That's the game plan.
I'm super excited. Love it. Sounds amazing. And thank you again for all your hard work and sticking through this very long bear market. But it sounds like we're positioned to really come out well on the other side. So
thank you. I mean, obviously nothing is guaranteed in life and nothing is certain. But I think, especially with our roadmap that we put out there, what we've done here is I think we've really demonstrated to our community that we've been hit down in this bear market. We're one of the last node projects alive, and we have come up with the viable solution here where we're building infrastructural value for not just ourselves, but our entire industry as a whole, moving forward into a much better cycle, obviously being the cycle that's going to be coming late 2024, early 2025.
Yeah. Oh, so you're thinking late 2024. Geez.
More than likely, just because it's a 4-year cycle and we understand Bitcoin halving cycle. Doesn't mean that we're going to be in really crappy prices like we are now up until late 2024. But
all right, that was a long chunk there, but I mean, there's a lot of things really to unpack. Think about the years they mentioned. Think about all the features and basically the updates that are coming. That's really the main thing. People have been asking, like, when are you going to make a comeback? When are you going to add some value back to this token? I think this is potentially one of the bigger things that they can really do. This is not Project Z. That's one of the things that's, I don't think it's mentioned in this clip, but this is not Project Z, which if you've been around for a little bit, it's been kind of like the big unknown, this is big Project Z that's coming. And I think it's pretty easy to see just kind of based on this clip that most likely Project Z is a game. And one thing I would like to say about that is if you think about it, there really hasn't been any real household game that's come out that's really in the Web3 marketplace. The closest thing I could think of, and the thing that I really believe would take off if they ever did it, would be like, think of like 2K, NBA 2K, or Madden. Both of them have a card system already built into their game. They're in the My Team type aspect, and they already do very specific ones where it's like, hey, I have the Peyton Manning from 1999, or I have the Peyton Manning from this playoff run or this series. In a way, that can be an NFT. That can be something that's very specifically yours, where the stats are the only one that really exists. Stats are kind of finite in football terms and things like that. So they could very well be another Peyton Manning that has the exact same stats, if you will. But the point is, that can be something that specifically is yours, something that's very special. And then in that, if other people want it, has inherent value. So if they could ever get a game like Madden or 2K or something like that to really adopt it, become more of a household thing, think of how much money they can make. Maybe right now they're getting people to spend $100 on some VC coins or something like that. But imagine if instead they did the NFT route and they just said, "Hey, we'll charge 10 cents per NFT, that gets moved over all those cards, And then let's say Thor, for example, were able to get something like that on their chain. And let's say Thor just took a penny of the 10 cents. That's thousands of transactions. Like that could really take off and become a really integral part of the community. And Madden, EA Sports, 2K would make so much more money, assuming people adopted it. And it's very likely. I mean, a lot of people that play 2K, there are still some kids out there, but a lot of us are grown-ups. Like we have jobs and money. We have the ability to put money into it. And it's a little bit easier just to say, hey, I spent 10 cents on this versus, hey, I just spent 50,000 VC to buy this coin. That 50,000 VC may be worth $20, $30, but over time, the people that 10 cents, here and there is going to add up. Not to mention, the value of whatever the particular card is. The 10 cents is just a fee. So I think things like that are very important. And if you haven't been paying attention to Thor in the past, this is kind of what's been going on. And I think this is really a good time. If you did want to jump back in to do it while the fees are low. Do it while things are going to give you the best ROI. Because once you get the ROI on your current investment, then you can start looking back to, okay, how much money did I need to get overall? And if you're not really feeling it, that's when you make your actual exit. Exit when you want to, not when the bear market made you. One thing I just really want to say, it's very important the fact that Thor has partners that are trying to sign up with them currently. I forget if I cut it out or not, but Loki lists off a couple different games that are already trying to get involved, and there's more that they say are trying to get involved, but because they don't have a public subnet out already or the private one ready to go, they've kind of been making them hold off. And I think that's important, because it'd be nice maybe to launch with a full suite of companies like that are already ready to go. I think that's a good sentiment and it gets a lot of people excited. Like, oh, there's like 20 different games already ready to go. That would be a really big thing. But I think another thing for the overall sentiment that hits a little bit harder is when every week you can come out and say, we added this person, we added this person, we added this person, and instead you have 20 weeks of updates. Because one thing I can say about these Thorsdays, there are some weeks where it's very stale. He comes on, he talks for like 5 minutes, he has nothing, there's no questions. It's just like, yeah, nothing's new, we're just working on XYZ. What actually would hit a little bit harder is if every week there's some good news. Hey, this is what we're adding. Price goes up a little bit. Hey, this is what we're adding. Boom, here's a new game. Here's a new thing. Here's a trailer. Here's a demo. Things like that, I believe, overall would really raise sentiment and get that price really moving up, 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 up. Not only because of people using it, but because people are starting to believe in the project again. Because Thor has not died. Thor is still going. People have not ran with the money. People are still here trying to make a difference. And honestly, a lot of this probably would have been easier if they just completely shut down Thor, made a whole new coin, a whole new protocol, and just came out, said, this is Athena, or something like that. Because it would have been a whole new thing. All the bad press and all that would have gone away, but they would have had to restart with their community. And I will say the Thor community, they seem like a strong bunch. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, thanks for watching the video. Once again, link below for the actual Discord AMA. If you want to listen to it, click on the link. It's not my link, it's just a link. In case you didn't know, I Hobo. Thanks for watching.
Lesser version of you. But I am not my sons. And your boy, Allfather, have plans for him. There he is. There's the god of war.